The European Parliament has largely delivered on its promise to protect payments to the Common Agricultural Policy. Yes, there were cuts, 3% in the Pillar 1 payments, but that was minor compared to many of the cuts that were in other areas of the budget. I think this Parliament fully realised the importance of agriculture and food production and issues like food security and food sovereignty and the quality of food that is produced at European level, and because of that ensured that the cuts to the budget in agriculture were a lot less than in many other areas. In Ireland, we have decided on the share out of our Pillar 1 payments. I wouldn't entirely agree with the Minister. I think we have made significant progress in bringing those on low payments up to a standard for 2020. However, I believe that we need to look carefully at those farmers who are in the range of about 300 to 450. Some of those farmers will have significant cuts to their payments, and that may well, I believe, impact on production, and therefore I believe the Minister should look again at those on the very high payments. I know he has a cap of 700, but that's not until the end of 2019. I believe he should look again at some of those very high payments. I believe that they would be better spread out to the more productive farmers in the range that I've already spoken of, and I think he needs to look at that to try to support those productive farmers and also to ensure the long-term viability and growth of the agricultural sector. As far as Pillar 2 is concerned, yes, there is disappointment that the Minister did not ensure that we had full co-funding, but nonetheless, given what we have in place, I still think there are a number of changes that are needed. The sheep grassland scheme absolutely must be amended. There are significant issues about the GLAS scheme. The payment, I think, for a lot of farmers will not be sufficient to entice them to join the scheme. And there are also issues about farmers on commonage being able to access the GLAS scheme in the first place. The beef genomics scheme is a poor successor to the suckler cow welfare scheme, both in terms, I think, of the money that is offered to farmers. I think many farmers that I've spoken to have told me that it really won't be worth their while, especially those who have smaller herds. I think the Minister needs to look at that scheme again, because it could be a valuable scheme, but unless there is a take-up by farmers, then it won't deliver. And I think we absolutely need to reassess both the level of payment and perhaps the front-loading of that scheme. I think other issues that concern us here in Brussels include forthcoming trade deals. We've just completed one with Canada, but we are looking at a possible trade deal with the US and with Mercosur. Indeed, the Trade Commissioner, de Gucht, is vigorously pursuing these trade deals. And we need to be extremely careful in Ireland, particularly for our beef industry, that any deals that are struck or decisions that are taken do not significantly impact on our beef sector, because if we have a situation where significant tonnage of especially high quality end beef can access the European market without tariffs, then that will have a major impact on Ireland, who exports 90% of all of the beef it produces. So we have to be vigilant. I think in the area of Brazilian beef some time back, if you remember, we had some success in that area, but extreme vigilance is needed here, because not only will voices in Europe want to conclude such a deal, many sectors in Ireland will also want to conclude such a deal, but in any deal, agriculture must not be sacrificed. We'll also be involved over the next period of time in mapping the disadvantaged areas, again an issue which is crucial to many farmers. And I suppose the final point I want to emphasise at the moment is the current issue of the cross-border beef trade, which is basically at a standstill. I've spoken to buyers from Northern Ireland who have hundreds, and in one case up to 2,000 cattle they can't get rid of. The factories will not pay a reasonable price. They are introducing barriers to trade. I've arranged a meeting with the Commission, with ICOS and with the IFA, where we spoke to the Commission about the issue of competition in the sector. And certainly they are going to look at it, because there is no doubt, looking at the situation south of the border, north of the border and in the UK, with the small number of players in the market, that the farmer is very much the price taker, and market manipulation has very severely impacted the trade. This will hugely damage not just the farmers themselves, but the marts right down the west and the Midlands of Ireland. They will be significantly hit by this. We must sort it out. We must have a level playing field, and I am quite confident that the Commission, I know they are working on this, they have told us they are working on it, but the whole area of competition has to be dealt with in a way that, as I said, ensures a level playing pitch for all concerned, for the primary producer and for every single actor in the sector.